what are the biggest mistakes, especially producers? What are the biggest mistakes I'm seeing producers make? The first one I'd say is celebrating success with a vacation.
What is the biggest problem in music for you, Payne?
Right now, I think the intersection of technology and intellectual property, because that's everything, that's content ID, that's AI, that's sampling, that's splits, collaboration. It's
Spotify,
it's everything. It's royalty rates. It's everything that I think really takes away from the essence of what we're trying to do, which is just make music that reaches people, and in doing so, potentially make a living. And that just dilutes that.
Yeah, I mean, the technology exists to make the music industry like super simple. It's not the technology. It's just
NFTs.
It's just the old traditional music industry at play. Because we can bring in all these. I mean, there are a lot of different types of royalties. We could connect it so that you could sign up for one thing and like just get all of your royalties on a monthly or even daily basis. Like the technology exists. I don't think we'll ever get there because there's just too many competing interests, too many different players. Damn, I knew we were talking about this. I don't even know like what the biggest. I'm kind of cool with how things are now. I mean, it's not perfect. Social media algorithms bother me. Like it sucks, and it's a reminder that you don't really have as much control as you think you do, and that's why it's so important to start building your community and owning that direct connection with your fans. Because to me, like social media reach is more of a problem than like Spotify royalty rates. Like just not being able to get access to the people that rock with you, that actually click follow and rock with you. I feel like there should be more outrage about that than Spotify royalty rates.
people were born into the internet though, so they don't know any better. Like they're just looking at what's fluctuating. Jack Conte, the owner and I think CEO as well of Patreon, did a talk at South by Southwest about this, and he was just breaking down the ages of the internet, and I just watched it. It's like a 45-minute talk. I think it's beneficial for any creator, especially any creator who's working to make money, whatever, but he just talks about the trends and basically he's driving home the importance of building a community. And he's like, I'm not trying to make this sound like a Patreon ad, but he was like, this is the next level that we're going to, because the algorithms are built to satisfy the needs of the major company and not built for the creators. And so I think, yes, utilize them, parlay them, but don't rely on them, because they're going to continuously change as people's engagement is dropping and people are looking for other avenues. They're going to morph and change so that they can keep more people on their platform. And again, it's an attention economy. It's not a creator's economy anymore, which is where we started. YouTube, Facebook, all those originally were connection economies, and then they were creator economies, and now we're in an attention economy, and we're about to move into whatever the next 3.0, 4.0 of the internet. So I think it's worth checking out Jack Conte at South by Southwest 2024. It's like 45 minutes. It's worth your time. It's very educational, but I'm with you, Dame. The internet and the algorithms are insane, but if this is what you like, don't hang your hat on that. Don't take this from us and be like, yeah, that's why I can't reach my, nope, it's on you. It's always on you. The ball is always in your court. Put the team on your back and do what you got to do.
I think we wanted to wrap this up with your stuff, right, Erinn? You say 5. Did you want to do the 5 pitfalls here? Or
no, that was me.
Yeah.
Oh.
This really came from our conversations about everything else, like the Rob Abelo tweet, etc. And I just started thinking, what are the biggest mistakes, especially producers? What are the biggest mistakes I'm seeing producers make? And then when I'm working with artists, what are the biggest mistakes I see them making, the biggest pitfalls I see them falling into? And a lot of them are the same. So I just came up with a quick list. And this is from experience, especially my own mistakes and me tripping and falling. So the first one I'd say is celebrating success with a vacation. You see people all the time, something big happens, and then they take a long break and rest on that one accomplishment, which is ass backwards. In my experience in the music business, when something positive happens and you build some momentum, that's when you go hyperspeed. If you're playing Mario Kart and you're in the lead, use that mushroom. Don't let other people lap you. You know what I mean? Go as fast as possible. Number two, I definitely experienced this, and some of my closest musician friends experiences codependence. You need to face this business on your own. My story coming up was that I thought as the producer, I was supposed to play the background, and I was honestly just intimidated by the prospect of walking into any situation, whether it was a club full of people, whether it was an office full of label guys, whether it was fan interaction. I felt like I needed a buffer. I needed a partner in that. And so I put all of my energy into group after group after group. 4 or 5 different groups I was in, and every single one crashed and burned. Now I was thinking, okay, is it me? I don't think this is me. It was me in the sense that I was picking the wrong kinds of people, and that's 100% my responsibility. However, once I just decided that I was going to try things out myself and realize I don't need a team. If I want to partner with people, that doesn't need to be a formal thing. I can work with whoever I want if they want to work with me, as long as I'm solidly in whatever frame I want to be in. My life changed. My career changed. Number 3, putting momentum into others. This kind of relates to the first 2, but I see this happen all the time. You play a big show. You're feeling yourself. So you start a label and start signing all the people around you. You get your beat placed on a major project. All of a sudden, you start signing producers. What are you doing? That's like gaining speed in your car and then making a turn. You're slowing yourself down, and you don't have anything real to offer these people. It's all just ego at this point, and people don't realize it necessarily. And then the people around you who you're putting on, you can't put them on. They're never going to be assets to you because they're codependent. You know, they feel like they need you to put them on. And it's just it's just the only thing you have to offer is clout. And the only thing those people want from you is clout, unless you're lying to them. And that clout will disappear if you can't focus on your next win. I knew a rapper. This was the weirdest thing ever. He took a long hiatus and then he came back. He starts buying beats from me. And every song needed to have a feature. And then when the features didn't come through, he scrapped the whole project. I'm like, why do you feel like you have to be everybody's savior? Just put your fucking music out. It didn't make any sense. But I see this happen again and again. People starting labels, people starting groups, collectives, all this stuff. It's like, why do you need that right now? Be the person that has so much going for them that they actually can selectively curate opportunities for the deserving folks around you. Find a space for them. Don't just create this catch-all because you need to feel like these people all look up to you. Like you need therapy. Number 4, burning bridges due to ego. I know someone who turned down like a $300 publishing deal and then never got another offer. I was in a group. We had a sync deal. Sprite offered us a sync deal for 2 of the groups I was in. One of the groups I was in crashed and burned, but they took it. The other group crashed and burned and didn't take it because they said, well, what if Pepsi wants to use the song? Because there was a beverage exclusivity clause for like 2 years. It's like, we can make another song. Number 1. Number 2, Pepsi is not contacting us, and Pepsi never contacted us. Pepsi didn't know we existed. It was the dumbest shit ever. We turned down free money because of ego.
I love the imaginary like scenarios that artists like to negotiate with. Like that's how Hop was. Like when we were first like in the beginning, it's like, well, what about if Dre comes in and gives me like $100,000 a beat? Like what happens? Like, bro, like what are we talking about? Like what, you just making up these scenarios and putting them on the negotiating table as if you have a contract. that says this is about to happen. Like like you don't know Dre, you don't know anybody. Like it's wild out here.
I just want to be available for the opportunities that are coming my way. But I have had so many dumbass artists. I know one who is stupid broke right now. I'm talking about dumb broke. Broke. I don't even want to specify how broke because if I give you a couple details, if they catch a snippet of this, they'll know I'm talking about them. But I know a lot of broke artists who used to work with me. So right now they don't know who I'm referring to. But one is dumb broke. And it's not that they're broke because they used to work with me. They're broke because they used to work with me. I don't be trying to work with broke. You gotta fix your mentality. This dude shot me in the foot with a really big brand deal. And I've talked about it before, but literally was like, I'm a more exclusive brand. I view myself differently. I'm more on the like Yeezy, fear of God, upper echelon, higher fashion streetwear brands, not this one. The one that he didn't want to work with is the number 2 worldwide biggest grossing athletic brand in the world, and y'all can Google that so y'all know what it is. But in the States, they're probably like 4 or 5, still a viable brand. But this dude was like, I just so fucked up my deal, lost a big portion of it. They still went through with some of the other because I negotiated like an overall multi-artist deal. Fucked up my relationship. I got less money. The other artist got less money. Never heard back from this brand that had come back to me multiple times, right? And I tried to follow up. So sorry. Nah, you fucked up my relationship. Dude didn't take that money. And now is, yeah, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, didn't put out maybe 10 songs since I managed him like 4 years ago. Like, don't got no bread, no momentum, no sauce. Like, stuff that I do in a month, he ain't done in 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not coming for bro, but I just feel like the delusion that you feel when you experience a little bit of success. It's like the moment that an artist experiences a tiny bit of validation, the self-sabotage is astronomical. I don't understand it
Yeah.
because I've seen it so many times. That's why when people say, what should I do? I'm thinking about management. I say, don't. There's no reality that I'm going to encourage anybody that I know in the near future to ever get into management because there's so many. If you want to help artists, there are alternative methods, but managing someone is basically signing up to be disappointed and not know why. Every time you're going to be disappointed and hurt and frustrated and probably broke because you're co-signing somebody else's bad decisions. And then you have to cover for their bad decisions because you're their manager. Don't.
And you're right. You don't know why. And I've seen it happen so many times. And I'm like, who put what did they say to you last night at your event? What email did you get? No, I just want to know what it was that prompted them. I get that it's ego. I get that it's insecurity. I get that it's all these things. But, it'll be a situation where like, I remember I was managing an artist and I walked away at this point because we had a set list. I'm a DJ. We got this artist, this event. I'm producing all the music. I have a very central creative role in this artist's career. And we're at the event, like literally a half an hour before his set. And he goes, I'm switching my whole setup. And I'm like, that's a really bad idea. And his reply was to cuss me and the co-manager out. And it's like, what happened to you in the last 24 hours? What tweet did you read? What inspired you to just shoot your whole career in the foot? And this is a huge event. You've done nothing other than just make a little bit of music to get here. You never would have gotten here if you hadn't had this team behind you. Why do you lash out at your team the second someone gives you some validation? That's a really strange, like if your input is validation and your output is anger at the people who are carrying you, there's something really wrong.
Because y'all don't do anything really. It only
and
works.
that's what happened. Yeah.
But
When that's what always happens, but it's like what are you hearing? What is going on in your brain that's synthesizing someone saying, "Oh, I really love your music. You should be famous." And then in your brain you're like, "I should be famous. Fuck my managers." How does that happen?
The crazy
It's so
thing is
weird.
if there is a person who implants that in their head, it's coming your way too. If you co-sign, I just want to tell you right now, if you co-sign an artist leaving and not being loyal to the people who helped them arrive at where they are going to fuck you over too, because you've already helped grow a seed that was planted by their ego. So you may think you're getting in the hot seat right now. Congrats. Welcome. You gonna ride the wave that somebody else created momentarily, and then you will experience the wrath, the heartache, the heartbreak, and the idiocracy of this artist to the 10th degree. You deserve it because you fucked
I
up.
would love we've had him on before. That's my brother, Shaw. But that happened to him. I was in a group, one of the many ill-fated groups, actually the group that took the Sprite. That we were smart. It was just me and him. We were smart enough to take the money from Sprite, but I couldn't work with him anymore. It had just gotten so bad. It was to the point where he was the guy where I was like, "Can you just send out some?" I scripted a message. "Can you just send out some of these messages?" "No, dog, I ain't even trying to." Like, really? I check in after a week. "Have you said?" "No, I ain't even trying to do all that." Like, what is right? So my brother Shah comes along. We weren't friends at this point. We just kind of knew of each other. He was the loudmouth dude from Chicago. He starts managing my partner in this group as a solo act. And I remember I was on the phone with him. I just need to have him on. He was feeling himself so much. He's like, "Yeah, I feel like I can do things that you couldn't do with him. And, you just have a way about you. I'm a little more aggressive." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. You're right. You got this, bro. You're a big man. You got this shit." Within a month, he's like, "Yeah, you were right." I would love to hear that, because we laugh about this, but I was annoyed with him. I'm like, "You're going to learn."
a month, damn, it only took a month. I know that.
It was
That's what
like
I
a
say. A
month or two.
month. I know some people I know managers who have come behind me and co-signed the artist talking shit about me. I'm like, you know me. I'm not perfect, but you know me.
And he didn't do that, for the record. This is this is like my brother.
So
But yeah, it happens. And then they crash and burn right along with him. And
When you
the
pick up
artist just moves on
scraps,
to
you
the
eat
next one.
shit. You gonna eat the shit. I'm telling you, you picking up these scraps thinking that and I'm guilty of it. I thought I was Jesus Jr. a couple times coming to save some dumbass artists after their managers abandoned them. And I don't think the managers that were before them were great, but for some reason, thought I was going to be able to fix the problem. The problem was never me. It was always them. And I had to the problem was that I didn't see it in myself enough to stop trying to be Captain Save a Ho. Now I'm like, I do not give a fuck. You got to pay me before I come to the door. I'm not doing this commission for your bullshit anymore. So I don't know. It's wild out here.
I think every
All right.
artist that I worked with on Funk Volume has had like several situations since, like either several managers or like, dip their toe with like some label situations, and the grass ain't always greener. But I know we cut Payne off at 4. Payne, you needed 5, right?
Yeah, I got my last one is "Spending Your Money Like More Is Coming." That's something that I've seen a lot of people do where, they get a big check and it's gone right away because they're like, "Well, if I got one, I got another." And I on the one hand respect the abundance mindset, but I also respect planning. You don't just get stuff because you've already gotten stuff. You get stuff because you keep the ball rolling. So keeping the ball rolling, being smart, making educated guesses about what's coming in your future, and then financial planning. It's not fun. I'm one of those kids who, I grew up, my parents worked in retail, and not that necessarily has anything to do with anything, but I think most people who learn financial literacy from their parents likely have well-off parents growing up. Whereas, not necessarily, but I feel like that's maybe the narrative.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
with me, it was like I'd find $5, and my mom would be like, "Okay, put it in the bank." So she got me a bank account when I was a little ass kid. And so I just learned to save. And I'm not pushing the save your way out of poverty narrative. That's absolutely stupid. But I'm just saying, saving, we're adults at a certain point in our lives where our artistry is paying us. Just make smart decisions with the money. That's all. Just have some degree of planning.
I think too the abundance narrative is fucking a lot of people up. It had me a little fucked up too, because my parents were kind of, I won't say super well off, but we were like lower middle class. I didn't like struggle for meals or anything, but my parents grew up super poor. So they came into everything as they were like, I thought I was poor growing up because the way that my parents hid money and no, we can't afford that. No, that's all I heard. No, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. I'm in private school, not even realizing this shit is crazy. I'm in private school, but like, no, we can't afford that. My mom packed my lunch. We can't afford that. So I was just like, oh, they're spending all their money to send me to good school. No, they had money. They were just scared because they grew up poor. So then when I started making a little money, not even like real money, I was just like, I'm smart, more is coming. I'm smart, more is coming. And I was always jammed up. So abundance to me is like, if you know you're a great farmer and you're expecting a phenomenal harvest, you know it's not coming exactly tomorrow. Things come on a schedule and in time. So you have to siphon off and you have to plan accordingly. Okay, it's about to be winter time, so I need to have my money set up. So I think that's something else I do hear from artists. They're like, well, more is coming. I have an abundant mindset. My gifts are making room for me. My talents. It's like, man, wisdom will expand your abundance. Prudence will expand your abundance. Like it doesn't mean that you have a lack or poverty mindset to say, I'm going to save, I'm going to invest, I'm going to put some things to the side. And in fact, being able to deny yourself what you want is a quicker way to abundance than it is to be like, I'm just going to give myself everything I want right now.
And that's discipline. That's shooting in the gym. So it goes back to what we said at the beginning. I have an honorable mention, and this might be controversial, but it's getting paid upfront as often as possible, or at least getting a deposit. And the reason I say it's controversial because I'll take it to an extreme where if someone's like, "Hey, I'll buy the beat from you for $500 on Friday, but I got $350 now," I'm taking the $350. If I feel like it's something that I can swing, I'm just going to take the $350 because a lot can happen from now till Friday and people always come up with excuses. And that's just been my experience. If I feel like $550 is fine, I can skate off that. Cool. If given the opportunity between a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, that $350 is a bird in the hand. I just had an event canceled, and I'm so thankful that I took a deposit on that. And another artist paid me a deposit for another project, and they're like, "Hey, can you send that money back?" Because I'm like, I can't send the money back. The deposit is literally for, and they were understanding, but I'm like, the definition pretty much of a deposit is a non-refundable payment to secure somebody's time and commitment to something. I'm like, I'm committed to the project. I'm just like as I was committed to the event. And so because I've been in the situations where I'll do the work and someone's like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't actually serious about buying that beat," or "Yeah, the show didn't do very well, so that $500, $300 fee that we were going to give you for your DJ set, yeah, you know what? I got you on the next one." Like, there's not going to be a next one because I don't trust you now. But I just wasted. The whole reason I started doing deposits and formalizing all of my DJ gigs, which I should have been doing earlier, was because I did an event that flopped for some dumbass. I didn't know who she was, but she booked me, made it seem like it was a benefit concert, offered me a very low fee, and then at the end of the night was like, "I'm not paying you," and then put it on some other dude. So I'm trying to track him down. He's ducking me, and it's a small area. I still haven't run into him. So this was years ago. I'm like, I can be mad as I want at these people, but this is on me. I should have gotten the money up front.
Maybe that's a bigger pitfall in your world. That seems like there's a lot of shit that artists need to learn from and do, but to put that as your sixth, I mean, maybe that's just your experience as a producer. Maybe there's more.
With that, I got thousands upon thousands of dollars that have been promised to me that have not come through as an event
So
promoter, or like I let a homie vend and then he sat. I'm not even gonna call him a homie. I let a grown ass man vend at one of my events. He had hella customers walking up, but he wouldn't stand up, so people didn't know it was his booth. At the end, he was like, I can't really pay you because I didn't make no bread. I drove all the way here from Virginia. I'm like, I had 10 different people come to me saying, who's selling it? So how, you know what I'm saying? So from vending booth to management, that's what I'm saying. I get my money before I get to the door. Because I got the type of manager royalties that I'm owed. That's what shut me down last year. That's
yeah.
what I'm with pain on that. Folks
Well,
is
wait, Dame, are you
shiesty.
saying put it up higher or put it lower?
No, I mean that's not something that would be in my top five, because that's something kind of specific.
Yeah.
That's something specific. It might, like, in my top five. Erinn, you go next, but in my top five is like not learning the business. That might come like under that somehow. That's a very specific thing. So, but maybe it's more prominent in your experience, and that's why you put it higher. So, Erinn,
Yeah, I think anything related to live events or custom services, you're going to see deposits being a priority. But yeah, in general, I mean, record deals come with advances, but yeah, a lot of that is just a future investment type of return, or a future return type of investment.
Yeah, I can run through mine real quick. Mine are just I just have three, but perspective, I guess, is one of them, which is the first. So I have three other. Playing the victim. Again, I always say the ball is in your court. And I've had a ton of shit done to me. I cried. I was upset. Called my lawyer. I vented about it on here. But at the end of the day, the ball is always in my court. I complained about management for years and hated it. I had to change it. I do not manage anymore. And I'm making way more money and sleeping a lot more, so don't play the victim. There's never a time that being the victim is going to empower you to be where you need to be. Not educating yourself, that's one that Dame had. Like, if you don't know about the business, that's nobody's fault but yours. That kind of goes back into playing the victim. But even if you're not playing the victim, consistently, I'll see an artist doing something cool. I DM them like, "Oh, did you register this, or did you know you could do this?" And they're like, "Oh, I didn't even know that." It's like, you're missing out on money. You were probably spending more time and energy doing things if you're not educated, or you may be chasing something that's so pointless because you don't understand the way that the business works. So, not just watching a podcast or listening to a book, like, educate yourself, have conversations, go to panels, spend money, get a course, go talk to people, pay for a consultation. Like, you need to be getting an in-depth understanding if you're really trying to be good at this business and make something of yourself. And then I just put not valuing people, opportunities, the landscape of the music industry, all those different things. I think if you are always downplaying something or never spending the time to be like grateful for what it is, you'll always miss the opportunity to grow, and you'll miss out on a lot of good people. You'll fumble opportunities that could lead to more things, or you'll complain, and then by the time 5 years passes, you're like, oh shit, if I would have just done the thing in that time period, I wouldn't be stuck. And again, I could talk about artists for days, but I know so many artists who were too cool or were too upset about something going on 3 or 4 years ago, and now they're staring down the barrel of a gun, and it's life or death for them every day. They're like, what am I gonna do? And like, I'm like, go get a job. Like, it's unfortunate I'm saying this, but just go get a job. It is what it is. But like, had you not complained, had you not thought you were too cool 3 or 4 years ago with the landscape of the music industry, you wouldn't be struggling now saying the algorithm's not helping me or nobody's calling my phone. It's like, value where you're at, and utilize where you're at to the best of your ability.
Nice.
Yeah, those are good ones.
I'll quickly go through mine. One, lack of education, just not learning the business. That's going to bite you in the ass time after time. Not understanding the value of relationships and cultivating healthy, positive relationships. You over here burning bridges left and right. You can't see further than the hand in front of your face. Just not working hard enough. A lot of times you just got to do more. Like you think you're doing a lot, but you got to get more organized, be more efficient so that you can have more output. A lot of times it just requires you to do more. Artists hit me up, they complaining about this, complaining about that. I go to their page, I see like 4 posts, go to their Spotify. The last time they released a song was like 3, 4, 5, 6+ months ago. So that would be number 3. Number 4 is just not having anything unique, like not a unique story, no unique messaging, no branding that makes you interesting. Obviously, it's more than just the music or being able to rap well. There's a lot of cats that can rap well. Like rapping just doesn't cut it anymore. I don't think it really ever did, to be honest. Maybe in the very beginning, but you got to have something that stands out, make you interesting so that people kind of pay attention and care. And then lastly, just taking care of your mind and body. This industry, highs and lows. Where you're in that low, you still got to be healthy. Keep a good head on your shoulders. You're gonna be dealing with a lot. You're gonna be dealing with fans telling you suck, or those aren't fans, I guess. People telling you suck on the internet. They're gonna be talking about your mom. It's a different day and age of like what you have to deal with if you're going to be just a person on the internet. Like people are mean, they're ruthless. People lie, cheat, steal, and how are you going to be able to kind of keep pushing through when some of these more negative things are happening? And how do you not get too high when more positive things are happening? So, just kind of staying even keel and pushing through and just maintaining a healthy balance, I think is super important. So those are my 5 things.
Yeah, and sign up for 2 Lost and get your music distributed for free to all platforms. That's a lot of music. In 3 months, use the code @odds on 2lost.com. So do that. And in addition to the other stuff, you'll be all right.
And we got a bunch of other stuff planned. I'm trying to figure out how to do the contesting again. Obviously you can't, everybody's not going to be happy. We did the collab for the crown contest with T-Pain, gave away $33,000. And of course, that's to 3 different groups of artists, so we can't give that to everybody. So there's going to be some people that are pissed off. But to the people that said that it was some kind of scam or whatever, like we don't need to do this. Like
they could just keep the money. That's crazy.
But I don't think people understand that like a lot of the stuff I do is to build community and to just present opportunities for artists. Like artists think that we're doing this because we're struggling to get people on the platform. I understand when people at the moment think of music distribution, they're probably going to think DistroKid, TuneCore, maybe United Masters. And I'm sure they're doing well. That's fine. But so are we. Like we have over 300,000 artists and labels on the platform.
Come on, Dave, talk.
We are probably the fastest growing music company currently right now. We don't need to do this. Like getting you to sign up, like is not going to make or break our business. So just change your mindset when you have these opportunities to get more exposure, potentially win some bread. Like you're not bringing that much to the table for it. We're trying to create community. We're trying to provide opportunities for people that appreciate it and that want to participate and have some fun. So, yeah, it's just not reality. What you're living in and the way you're thinking is just not true. So snap out of it, please.
Stop playing the victim.
Yeah.
This was a really cohesive episode. I think everything just kind of tied in to everything else. So appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next week. We got more to talk about. I know we didn't touch on everything today. So thank you for tuning in today, and thank you for tuning in next week.